So Jeff, let's frame this up properly. You run the supply chain department at CVS. Approximately $51 billion flows through the DC centers. Now that CVS is transforming itself from a retailer to a healthcare company, how does supply chain play a growth role? Share the story.
We initially looked at where we stood in terms of talent and where we were in terms of developing the talent we already had, as well as how to go find new talent. And we basically said, looked around at our own team and who had passion, for, if you will, the topic. I'll say, birthed our own acquisition strategies, our own development strategies, our own internship programs, or all these kinds of things. We developed our own parameters. And the first year, I said a lot of resistance, but then we got to the second year and they started to see the success that was coming from that. Now the company has come to us in the third year and said, well, how are you doing that? And maybe we should be doing more of what you're doing. And it's not because we were, I would say, brilliant, but we had passion, right? We had passion for what we needed to solve for. And we knew that the standardization approach that was in place was never going to allow us to become the organization we needed to be.
Perfect. Tyjaun, what are colleges and universities doing to prepare students to contribute to a company's mission, especially when there's mixed generations within the organization? You shared some interesting thoughts with me.
So I'll say that for community colleges, we have the opportunity to pivot when the needs or the demands of our industry partners arises. We as educators have to personalize how we deal with our students, not for them to remain in the whole standardization of how education is built, but help them understand how to move and navigate so that they can get to their own mission, which is to become successful individuals in this society. I ask the question of my team all the time, so when we make this decision, how do we know it's going to impact the student? And how is this decision going to impact the student so that we put ourselves in the student's shoes? And so I tell people all the time that retaining their students is not from fall to fall or from fall to spring. It is from today to tomorrow, because they may not come back if they don't have the resources in place in order to be successful.
What are going to be the skills that you believe community colleges are truly going to have to emphasize more with students?
We're going to have to be courageous.
How do you teach that?
So being empathetic to where they are in their place and space. And so being understanding of that, we can then help them get to where they want to be. And instead of us saying, okay, so we know you want to be an occupational therapist, but you have 3 children and you're caring for your ailing mother. How do we help you navigate that? Which means we have to be courageous and saying possibly to a faculty member, well, you know what, we have to look at your outcomes and your fail rate. So looking at that type of data, how do we look at our partners to say, well, you know what, we actually need a partnership and we need dollars to help support this young lady with a scholarship. And so it is going to force us to be different in how we navigate and how we actually manage the organization as a whole so that our students can be successful when they leave us.
Are we beginning to understand? One may have thought that you were here to talk about diversity and inclusion, but now you're realizing that leading in the age of personalization is about completely changing and shifting your entire business model, the way you think about talent, your own community. Guys, fantastic. I wish we had more time. Thank you very much. Fantastic work.